Good morning. This is Melody Johnson with the Donkey Whisperer Farm. And today I'd like to give you a tip on donkeys that have bald patches. Usually the bald patches occur in the spring, right? And why is that? Well, we've had a long wet weather here in the Pacific Northwest, and I want to explain to you what my vet has taught me about bald patches in donkeys. Number one, make sure that your donkey does not have any lice. Look in the hair and make sure if you don't see anything moving. Donkeys can get lice because they have such thick fur and their immune system can be compromised. So we need to take care of that with our vet and find an oil-based product that can go in that works the best. Secondly, I do fecal samples twice a year here on the farm for my donkeys and horses. My vet looks at the poop under a microscope and she tells me that I have parasites or I do not. And if I have them, then she tells me what wormer to use. The vet is always your best choice on what to use for wormer. Why? If we overworm the donkey, we're going to compromise the immune system. So we don't want to do that, and we don't want to waste money either. The other thing my vet has taught me is why do some donkeys get bald patches and some do not? So this is, hi Roy. So this is Roy coming up to me. And Roy has kind of thick fur, thin fur. It's not real thick. Let's look at Rocket Man. Roy just moved away. So Rocket Man is 26 years old. And see how thick his fur is? He does get bald patches, but not very often. And why is that? Well, my vet explained to me that the thick, long fur donkeys, it's just the way they shed, right? It just doesn't happen as often. So Rocket Man doesn't have any on his butt, but when I come over here to Roy and nobody has lice and nobody has worms, Roy has got these little bald patches, right? There's nothing red. It's not infected. There's no bugs on it. So why is that? Well, his fur is different. See, it's very different than Rocket Man's. And it's just the way he's shedding out. And they rub their bodies, they itch. You know, brush them as much as you can to help them get the fur off. And remember, donkeys shed later in the year, not like a horse, because the fur prevents them from sunburn. It prevents them from insects eating them and making them bleed. And it regulates their body temperature. So then, hi Maximus. Maximus, his fur, they came from the same breeder. It's the same. See that? And he doesn't have as thick a fur as Rocket Man, right? It's not long like that. But there's no red, there's no bugs. So what would I do now? Well, the best thing I can do is give my donkeys a nice bath, a warm bath, tie them up. They don't like water, an anti-fungal shampoo with a conditioner, and I do that once a year after the long winter to get all the gunk and stuff out of their hair. And then I hand wash their face. Hi, Maximus. And I do that in the morning so that they can dry before it gets dark and cold out. And that really helps. And I just do that once a year. So that is the tip today for donkeys and bald patches. On the Donkey Whisperer Farm, this is Melody Johnson and my miniature donkeys. And stay on donkey time.